Miss Grand Duchess Rasmaskone. Flowers and feathers on this nice day of what we call it again, April 26th at, I always like to give 2 times, 5:21 via my computer and 8:21 p.m. via my cell phone. That's actually why I like to do that. It is what it is, and I really like doing it. It's invigorating, and I want to say something about that. Why not? After adjusting everything, sometimes they have these little devices just go in their own direction, and God knows who does, what does, or how it does. But I want to give you something about time today. It talks about time, and how time become in essence something else. Time become an essence in survival and enlightenment and instinctual development, or call it whatever you do. There's so many things. I've been surrounded by so many off people. So I call them off in their pretentiousness of who they are and their inability to rectify some of the things that they could have on a personal level and even professional personal level, and they stand in a kind of like a disagreement in the tenets that they claim to protect and represent and live by and so forth. So in a certain time of life, you get to see that it doesn't really matter that they're even less than the giants that you think they are. They're just plain old ordinary people reacting day to day for a certain ideology, maintenance of it. I don't know. To me, resolution, as well as resolution with time, never uphold a certain or try to conserve something. Instead, it adapts to preserve and to renew itself and so forth. So I wrote this thing today. I went downtown today, Bethesda, Eastern Market and so forth, and just walked around. The pollen killed me. I washed my face and so forth. And well, I said the worst thing about survival, the crunch travel, especially being a nurse, an army nurse corps and so forth, it's so behind me. And I didn't realize being a nurse was so, for me, was so mean. It was a stepping stone. But they became so menial in their professionalism and demeaning in their outlook, in their profession. And I don't identify with it. I couldn't, and I still can't, and I don't understand how they operate if they have a set of rules to operate in. And time, as I said, time gives everything. When you have people that can function like that, that function in such a capacity, you see, time is justifies its action professionally, whether it be wage, income, inability of people to work certain jobs, and etc., etc. And I don't want to get back in that. But what I want to get back is the worst thing about survival is the contrived and stifled, maligned innocence. Lives want to justify, not rectify, the evil entwined. And here they are, after all their deliberation, they want to delegate you as part of their menial congregation. Well, I'm not having it. I never ever been menial to myself, and I don't look at people as menial, but when people try to delegate your life, as if you don't have the brain or the power or the intelligence to exude what your self-determination is, because we're not living in China, and God knows they're probably having a better damn time than we are, as far as living and for healthcare and etc. I find it to be menial, their justice, demeaning, and so forth, and their outlook. And it shows all over in our government and how people function in the government and how we have been in this recession and how we can't get out of the instability of fear that they drive into us because of their successive failures. Yes, I never said I've never had any failures in my life, but I've always and so forth. And that that essence, I become renewed in who I am, not them. They repeat the same cycle of violence or evil and so forth to try to obtain some sort of dignity and intelligence to their system. But it's just knowledge and lack of efficacy and lack of the awareness of time to adapt, to change and move on. As I said, today I saw a tarot card reader, and they were going on, and I sat and I said to her, why didn't you tell them that that would happen? Didn't you see this in the future? What was your outlook? And we being to wonder, people in these places and operate with these socially, they're these high social strata, and they're still grappling with the efficacy, with the essence of what the future should be. This is me, the Grand Duchess RASMASKONEN. As I said yesterday, I was reaffirmed. And so there are certain things that I used to go through to try to justify what I went through, to try to justify and sit in other people. But after yesterday, I no longer question it, nor do I look at them, nor if they pay the claims or not, that's their business. Because integrity must be a part of it. And so therefore, whether or not they do it or not, it's not my judgment. It's their judgment, and it's a judgment on their children. So you can see how time readjusts for those who believe and for those who stay faithful to who they are and to what they believe. Have a good evening.